Hi, I'm Zhe Zhang. Our group selected the topic related to data entity, event, and relationship extraction for web menu and content analysis, and I'm in charge of the data and entity extraction part. Web mining is the process of data mining techniques to automatically discover and extract information from web documents and services. The main purpose of web mining is discovering useful information from the World Wide Web and its usage pattern. Web mining tasks can be categorized into three types: web structure mining, web content mining, and web usage mining. Web content mining extracts or mines useful information or knowledge from web page content. For example, we can automatically classify and cluster web page according to their topics. These tasks are similar to those in traditional data mining. However, we can also discover patterns in web pages to extract useful data such as descriptions of products, postings of forms, etc. for many purposes. Furthermore, we can mine customer reviews and form postings to discover consumers' opinion. These are not traditional data mining tasks. The web content mining can be divided into 5 categories: data information extractions, web information integration and schema matching, opening extraction from online sources, knowledge synthesis, segmenting web pages, and detecting noise. Our focus will be on the data information extraction. Data extraction is based on programming languages or data extraction tools to create the data sources. The difference between data extraction and data mining is data extraction focuses on collecting and integrating data from different sources, while data mining focuses on discovering patterns for making sense of data and predicting the future. Then I will discuss data extraction for structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data respectively. If the data is structured, the data extraction process is generally performed within the source system. It's common to perform data extraction using one of the following methods. For extraction, data is completely extracted from the source, and there's no need to track changes. The logic is simpler, but the system load is great. Incremental extraction. Changes in the source data are trapped since the last successful extraction so that you do not go through the process of extracting all the data each time there is a change. Some structured data arise when source does not impose rigid structure on data. Object exchange mode helps the user to accurately understand the structure of the information that is available on web. Top-down extraction helps in extracting complex objects from a rich web source and decompose them into less complex objects until atomic objects have been extracted. Web data extraction language helps in converting web data to structured data and then delivers this data to end users. The data is stored in the form of tables. However, most data on web is unstructured, including images, voice recording, videos, and text documents written by humans. There are 3 methods of extracting data on web: manual approach, rapid induction, and automatic extraction. The way web page presenting data is generally designed according to navigation pages, list pages, and detailed pages, which will make there are certain patterns in the presentation of data, and we find out such patterns so we can make rules to get the data. XPath is one of the common used tools. The other tool is CSS. A wrapper is the process of extracting data from a web page and reducing it to structured data. Wrapper induction is based on supervised learning, which learns data extraction rules from a collection of labeled training samples for extracting target data from other identically labeled or identically web page templates. Wrapper induction mainly includes steps such as web page cleaning, web page tagging, wrapper generation, and wrapper evaluation. Automatic extraction can overcome the shortcomings of manual method and wrapper induction. Manual method only suitable for those simpler websites. The workload is not large. Supervised wrappers will be very expensive to maintain. This is the process of automatic extraction. A representative of automatic web page information extraction is Roadrunner. By comparing 2 sample pages of the same kind of web pages and then analyzing the similarity and differences between 2 pages, a regular grammar is summed up, and then the data pattern contained in a web page is generated according to the regular grammar, and finally the data of the web page is extracted. I list the following key challenges. Data extraction system often requires the help of human experts. Human feedback, however, may play an important role in raising the level of accuracy. Data extraction techniques should be able to process large volume of data in relatively short time. Applications in the field of social web or more in general, those dealing with personal data must provide solid privacy guarantees. Approaches relying on machine learning often require a significantly large training set of manually labeled web pages. Data extraction has to routinely extract data from a web data source, which can evolve over time. With the deep learning technology becomes more standardization and accessible to approach, data extraction will be more deeply integrated with computer vision and natural language processing. You can see that instead of semantic markup, object detection can recognize more types of data and get better quality. As cloud-based web scraper emerged, data extraction will also gain abilities on dealing with large amounts of data on streaming. Entity extraction is not only the basics of solving many NLP problems, but also the most basic task of knowledge extraction. In order to extract entities from text, we first need to identify and locate entities from the text, and then classify the recognized entities into predefined categories. Here is an example of entity extraction. It can recognize person, organization, date, etc., but sometimes it will make errors. For example, FBI should not be a geopolitical word. Entity extraction has three main methods, based on rules and dictionaries, based on machine learning, based on deep learning. Rule-based methods mostly use linguistics to manually construct rule templates, select features including statistical information, punctuation, keywords, indicators, and direction words, position words, central words, and other methods to match patterns and strings. And most of these systems rely on creation of knowledge bases and dictionaries. The statistical machine learning-based approach uses fully tagged or partially tagged crops for model training. It treats the NR as a sequence labeling problem. Identifying entities from nature text is a typical sequence tagging problem. The method mainly involves three aspects: crops tagging, feature definition, and model training. To construct the training crops of statistical models, people use inside-outside beginnings or inside-outside tagging system to manually label the text. Before training the model, the statistical model needs to calculate a set of features of each word as the input of the model. These features include word-level features, dictionary features, and document-level features. HMM and CRF are two statistical learning models commonly used in labeling problems, and they are also widely used in NR problems. HMM is a statistical Markov model in which the system being modeled is assumed to be a Markov process. For example, your goal is to predict what your friend will do tomorrow. Your friend's activity is only depend on the weather, and your prediction can only build on what he did today. So the weather is a hidden layer in this example. When applied to the problem of name entity recognition, the part of speech tags are the hidden layer, and the text is the observations. The tagging problem can be seen as a sequence tagging of a given observation sequence. CRFs are a class of statistical modeling method often applied in pattern recognition and machine learning and used for structured prediction. Compared with HMM, CRF does not have such strict independency assumptions, so it can accommodate arbitrary content information. In the problem of sequence labeling, the state sequence variable x corresponding to the marker sequence, and y represents the observation sequence to be labeled. Given the training dataset, the conditional probability model can be obtained by maximizing likelihood estimation. Compared with the traditional statistical model, the method based on deep learning directly takes the vector of words in the text as input, realizes end-to-end name entity recognition through neutral network, and no longer depends on manually defined features. The model uses the combination of long short-term memory neural network and CRF to identify named entities. The model comprises embedding layer, bidirectional LSTM layer, and CRF layer from bottom to top. A sequence tagging model that combines bidirectional LSTM, CNN, and CRF, which has been successfully applied to name entity recognitions. This model is very similar to the LSTM-CRF model, except that the character-level vector representation of each word is added to the embedding layer. The neural network model based on attention mechanism was first used to solve the problem of machine translation, and the attention mechanism can help expand the basic encode-decode model structure and enable the model to obtain information related to the next target word in the input sequence. NER is a basic task in NLP, and it is the basic of many NLP tasks, such as relation extraction, event extraction, knowledge graph, information extraction, question answering system, syntactic analysis, machine translation, and so on. It is widely used in NLP and plays an important role in the practical process of natural language processing technology. The main problem is the quality and consistency of data annotation, which will lead to physical boundary confusion. Most research are based on official documents. The NER of informal text, such as tweets, user comments, forum posts, is more difficult to deal with than formal text because of its short content and loud noise. In recent years, name entity recognition has made a large number of new research achievements in multimedia indexing, semi-supervised and unsupervised learning, complex language environment, and machine transformation. Future research will also focus on these aspects, especially for multimedia information processing, such as the extraction of name entity from multimedia information and the use of large-scale text processing and simultaneous processing of multiple types of entities.
Hi, this is Huanwen Liang. Today I will talk about the event extraction and the relationship extraction. For the event extraction, the goal of event extraction is to identify event triggers and their arguments in unstructured text data, then to assign an event type to each trigger and a semantic role to each argument. Event extraction text can be divided into two categories: meta-event extraction and topic event extraction. A meta-event represents the occurrence of an action or a state change. The topic event describes the development process of the event. Method based on pattern matching, as well known as expert knowledge-driven approaches. This method is to identify and extract events under the guidance of a certain template. It can achieve better results in a specific field, but the portability of the system is poor. Method based on machine learning, as well known as data-driven approaches. It is based on statistical models, which transform meta-event dictates and argument identification into classification problems. Two classic event extraction models will be introduced today. The first one is the dynamic multipoling convolutional neural networks model of pipeline method. The pipeline divides the extraction into tasks, and all tasks are executed in sequence. This model designs a dynamic multipoling layer that can retain the maximal value of each part of the sentence. The second is the joint event extraction via recurrent neural networks. The model does event extraction in a joint framework with bidirectional recurrent neural networks. They introduce the memory matrix that can capture the dependence between argument rows and trigger subtypes. Some event extraction methods hybrid with external resources. They will try to use the FrameNet dataset to match several categories of events in the ACE05 dataset. Then construct large-scale event datasets from Wikipedia and FreeBus. A topic event is composed of multiple actions or states. The key to topic event extraction is how to determine the collection of documents describing the same topic event and how to merge the topic event class in these fat cross collections. The method usually based on event framework or ontology. There are following challenges: system scalability and portability. The application of the system is restricted by the field and cannot be easily and quickly transpolated or expanded as the field changes. Meanwhile, if there are problems with the foundation such as identity recognition, it will cause cascaded errors. For the future look, as just mentioned, the event extraction research in the future should be phased in open fields, not limited to a specific field. At the same time, the topic event extraction should be paid more attention, because this is also widely used in actual need. Well, next topic is the relationship extraction. Relationship extraction is to extract the relations contained in the text. At present, there are 5 types of commonly used relation extraction methods, which are based on pattern matching, dictionary-driven, machine learning, ontology, and hybrid method. Relationship extraction techniques included handwritten patterns, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and semi-supervised learning. Handwritten patterns method can generally be divided into trigger word or string-based and dependency-based syntax. For supervised learning, this method is to label the relevant entities and the relationships in the training corpus, construct a training set and a test set, then treat the classifier on the training set. If the labeled training corpus is large enough and in higher quality, the accuracy of this model will be very high, but the disadvantage is that it requires a lot of labor and time. There are 2 main types of semi-supervised learning algorithm, bootstrapping and distant supervisor. The first one does not require a noted sentence with entities and relationships. It does not need to train a classifier. Distant supervisor can be seen as a combination of bootstrapping and supervised learning, which requires training a classifier. The unsupervised learning method uses identity pairs with the same semantic relationship to extract. This method can extract a very large number of relationship pairs, but the extraction results are difficult to map to the knowledge base. The focus of relationship extraction method model based on deep learning is to use the characteristics of different neural networks to extract the feature of the sample, which is represented by the vector of the learning sample. Some classic model will be presented today. The first is the models based on recursive neural networks. It uses a recursive neural network to model the grammatic analysis tree of the sentence, construct a specific binary tree, and then parse all adjacent child nodes on the tree, then combine them into a parent node in a specific semantic order. Next is the models based on convolutional neural networks. Liu first attempt to introduce these to classify relationships. It has significantly improved performance compared to non-neural network method. Then, based on the previous model, the max pooling operations is used after conventional, so that the most useful features of each convolutional kernel can be extracted. It can minimize the accumulation of errors in traditional method. This model added a multi-site convolutional kernel based on the previous model, so that more in-gram features can be extracted. At the same time, the lexical level features is no longer used at all, and the sentence features are completely used. This CNN model combined with multi-level attention, it designed a relative 2-layer attention mechanism to highlight as much as possible which parts of the sentence have a greater contribution to the relation label. The proposal of this multi-layer attention is very unusual, and the final experimental result reached 88%, which is a great improvement. For this recurrent network, it proposed 2-way RNN to deal with relation extraction and capture more information. At the same time, it is particularly capable of learning long-distance relation patterns. To better extract the features in the sentence, the researchers try to apply machine learning methods for combined modeling to extract. This model proposed a piecewise convolutional neural network in response to the error problem caused by the traditional model relying on NLP tools. There are currently the following challenges. The first is data annotation and the noise samples by distant supervision. Meanwhile, the relation extraction are limited to sentence. A large number of relationships appears in multiple sentences and one or more documents. For the future look of relationship extraction, larger scale training data is needed, and document-level relationship extraction are essential to meet actual needs for web mining and content analysis. More efficient learning ability and more open relationship types should also be considered. That's all for the presentation of our report today. Thank you for listening.